Hey guys, welcome to nationalhsfb.com. I'm your host, Larry Godwin, and with me is my counterpart, Joe Maimone from Prep Gridiron Logistics. Guys, if you've been watching our, virtual coaching, what do we call it, Joe?
A series.
Coaching series. We've gone all across the country virtually over this past summer and interviewed, purposely sought out the most high-profile, prominent head coaches all across the country. And joining us for a reunion is Coach Jube Joseph with the Miami Central Rockets. And Coach, I told you before before we got started that, man, I can tell that winning is fun because just look at the smile on your face. And you certainly had a big win over the weekend.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us again. Joe, why don't you lead us off?
Coach, just want to congratulate you in honor of your monumental win this weekend. I'm wearing my Miami Central Rocket green.
I see you. Yes, sir.
Just for you, man. What a win. What a victory. Not many people predicted that. Let's talk about going into the IMG game. What did you see on film, and what was your plan of action?
First off, hats off to the IMG program. Everybody knows that they've been elite status in the United States when it comes to high school football, as far as facilities, resources, and development of players. But for us going into that game, we knew that one thing that we had over them was, we're a program here. Our kids have a bond and connection. These been the same group of kids have been playing with each other for years, and won three state championships in a row. And we just knew that it wasn't more so necessarily what they did, but just more so of what we could do, control what we can control, and base that game purely off execution and continuity amongst each other.
Coach, listen, going into this game, you knew that IMG was loaded. They were the number 4 ranked team in the nation for something, right? Because year after year, they're just fully loaded. I read an article over the weekend in USA Today that had a write-up about this game. And this author, Rick Suter, said this about the game, about your defensive squad. He said, it was a defensive masterpiece from the Rockets, who didn't allow the home team to score in the second half, a rarity for IMG, a team that has been near the top of the Super 25 rankings for the past few years, regardless if they are home or away. How good does it make you feel that in the era of spread offenses where it's not uncommon to have games 45, 65 to 40, that kind of stuff, for your defense to shut a high-powered IMG team down and hold them to 14 points?
I think it's more so a better feeling for the kids, knowing that, I've got some run-of-the-mill lunch pail kids who come to work every day who know that they don't have the big name and the big stars behind their names and all of a trillion scholarship offers. But what they do have is a resilient effort, an approach to the game, and knowing that if everybody trusts one another and does their job, then success is inevitable as a defense. And knowing that, they're taking on the personality of the actual program, which is, standing down on 10 toes and not flinching at any type of adversity that's in front of them, because if you punch us, we're going to punch back in. And that's what really made me more so happy, was knowing that they had that opportunity to showcase that to the country.
Hey, Larry, you mentioned that IMG was number 4 going into that game. Can you guess who number 4 is this week? Why don't you put it up there?
Let's go ahead and get into this, Joe. This is going to be great, man.
So our poll, our nationalhighschoolfootball.com poll, came out a few hours ago. And as you can see at number 4, it's the Miami Central Rockets.
Congratulations, Coach. Well deserved.
Yep. And remember, Coach, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. So let's
we got more work.
Stay focused. Yeah. And Larry, the cool thing about this is in the last couple of years, Miami Central has played number 1, number 2. Have you played Madonna recently?
2019.
Okay, so 1, 2, 6, 7. Who else? Eight, obviously. American Heritage, have you played recently?
Yeah, last year in the playoffs.
Aquinas?
Yeah, 2018.
So, Larry, look at all the teams they played in the top 10. More than half of them.
Man.
So there is no public school in America that schedules as aggressively as Miami Central. I'd say East St. Louis is a close number 2. They love, in the last 2 years, the Flyers have played IMG, St. Francis, and who am I missing? Oh, St. John Bosco. So they're very similar teams. But look where you are, Coach. Number 4, great win. You were number 8 coming into the game, so you basically swapped with IMG. And
right.
I know the best is yet to come. You got a great schedule ahead of you. So that being said, I when I released this poll a few hours ago, like any pollster, you get crucified. You can't make everybody happy. And the biggest complaint was, especially out of the West Coast people, they were like, "How could you have Miami Central over Bishop Gorman?" IMG was overrated, but I had to remind them, Bishop Gorman led Mater Dei for 45 of the 48 minutes of that game. Okay. And I had to remind them that, you played Bishop Gorman, right last year, and you basically should have won if your field goal kicker's plant foot didn't slip when he went to kick the ball. So my question to you is, tell us all here on the show and all the haters out there that think these other teams should be rated higher than you. I want to know the difference between the team on the field against IMG a couple of nights ago versus the team that was on the field in Naples against Bishop Gorman last year. What are the differences?
I mean, to be honest, if you're in sports, every year is a different version of your team. Every season is a different version of your team and a different version of the kid that you had the year before and the year before that. I think that, that team that we had in last year that played Bishop Gorman and we lost on that last second field goal, we were still gelling. We were still coming together. Yeah, you're still reeling from that loss to St. John Bosco. We was just still kind of gelling. And after that loss from Bishop Gorman, we've been rolling ever since. For that whole season, we ran the table and won the state championship for the 3-peat. And this year's team, I'd say, I would, from my observation, it's kind of like night and day, because instead of I would say finishing strong, I think that this team this year is focused on starting fast and finishing strong, coming out the gate swinging. And the proof is in the pudding, where coming out early, playing a tough opponent on the road, and leaving that situation on top. And that just shows you the preparation and the dedication and how they've been working their tails off in the summer. So, I mean, I get it. Yeah. People are going to say, they lost to Bishop Gorman last year, but that was last year.
Yeah, and you won. You beat IMG. That's a household brand name that's been really killing it the last few years.
Right. You can't lose and expect to
exactly. In my heart of hearts,
how do you lose?
In my heart of hearts, I can't have a team who's 0-1 above a team that's undefeated and just beat IMG. That's ridiculous. Right. So make sure you use those points to motivate your team going forward. Okay.
Right.
Tell them there's a lot of people on the West Coast who freaking hate us and they don't believe we deserve the number 4 ranking.
We're well aware of the hate on 95th Street. We know what we're up against.
All right, cool.
Well, Coach, I've got a different type of question for you. I think you've come to expect that from us by now. Here's a couple of headlines that appeared over the weekend. One is from the Sarasota Herald Tribune. The other is from USA Today. The Tribune says the headline is "Stunner: Miami Central upsets IMG Academy in season opener." USA Today says Miami Central upsets IMG. So everyone is playing this off as an upset. What is your mindset now, you and your kids? Do you guys view this as an upset, or do you just view it as a culmination of hard work that overcame another good team?
I mean, to be honest with you, I know nobody believed that we would win but us, and that's fine with us. You know what I'm saying? We came in there. Somebody asked me, okay, what part of the game did you feel like you guys would win? And I was like, when we showed up to the stadium.
Gotcha.
Eating pregame dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, or the night before in the hotel. We knew in our minds, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It's what we know.
I got you. That's a great attitude to have, Joe.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Hey, Coach. A lot of people around the country, they don't get to see IMG that often, and that's why they're so enthralled when somebody beats them. They want to know everything about the game. Tell me where. I mean, you play a lot of South Florida teams. If everybody played each other every year, including IMG, where would they stand as compared to American Heritage and Madonna and you and Northwestern and Heritage? Where do you put them? Are they like everybody else? Are they? Is everybody equal in your? You've played everybody now. What do you think?
In my eyes, everybody's equal.
Yeah.
You know, playing, coaching in South Florida, playing in South Florida. Any given Friday night, you can get your head knocked off, and that's how it is. You know, any given Friday night, and it's not. You don't have to travel 45 minutes to get to a good school. That school probably 7 minutes away from your school. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason that builds the culture here. So if they were in the mix with us, then it would be equal. You know, because you can go to Chaminade, Madonna, you can go to American Heritage, you can go to St. Thomas, you can go to Northwestern, Miami Central, Miami Northern, you name it. You know, any given place, any given Friday night, if you come half-stepping, you might or you will get your head knocked off. And that's just the truth of it.
Coach, in that USA article, it was an interesting headline. It talked about the upset, but it said that it included a controversial pick six. Can you elaborate on that? What's he talking about?
Okay, well, he's talking in the sense where it was a pivotal time. I think it was 14, and the quarterback threw an interception to our kid, and on film, it looks like our kid got a little bit excited. And he threw the ball up in the air before he crossed the goal line.
Oh, I see.
And that's what actually occurred. Referees didn't catch it. They allowed the game to play. I can only go off the officiating that's given to me through the means of the game. To be honest with you, people could say the technicalities and things of that nature, but nobody was in front of that kid. That kid was going to score regardless. If you know football, how I know football, and you watch that game, how you watch that game, Miami Central was going to be on top regardless.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. So, Joe, it's kind of, I'm kind of stuck with this next question because, Coach, going into this game, I think everyone can agree that you guys were the underdog when it comes to IMG. But going forward, you got to be the favorite here on out, don't you, Joe?
Yeah.
So, Coach. So if you guys are viewed as the favorite now, how do you get the kids to change their mindset from going from the hunter to the hunted?
Again, it goes to the mindset of the kids. We already feel like in our preparation as far as this season, it's always been Miami Central versus the world. Okay. It's always been that. It's always been our approach. We know that with success comes hatred. And nobody's been doing it this good for this long. Eight championships in 12 years. Yeah. We're the standard of winning in South Florida and Florida. We keep doing what we got to do. We'll show the country as well. So it's not really a change in their mindset because we already know. We've talked about it as a team, as a family. Where everybody else is shocked. We're not. We knew what this was going to happen. We knew this. That's why at halftime, when we were down 14-6, and people were like, what was the adjustments? We didn't do anything. Our kids already know, oh, man, we got 24 more minutes. Oh, they're in trouble.
Joe, listen, I'm smiling from ear to ear because I don't think I've ever heard a coach just flat out say, we are the standard in South Florida football. Coach, that takes a lot of guts, and you've been backing it up on the field too. I got to admit. So until someone knocks you guys off, it's your title to boast about.
Man, listen, and again, what we hang our hats on, our separation is in our preparation. That's why our kids move how they move with the confidence. My coaching staff is amazing, second to none. My athletic administration is amazing, second to none. The support we get in the community, the support we get just period in the hallways is amazing. And we know what we have. And we know that we're working with something special this year. And we understand the mission at hand. And when you have a collective group of people who understand where they're going and how to get there, sky's the limit.
Yeah, Larry, I was really happy for Coach. You know, me and him met for dinner in April, and we talked about this IMG game. I go, Coach, you know, he was still looking for a game, and I go, you know, IMG's open, and we're kind of like wishy-washy, and then he called me up 2 weeks later and said, Joe, I got it done. So I was proud that, you know, he did what he did and they won, but also I couldn't sleep that night. I had stomach pains because they were already one of the hardest teams to find teams for, scheduling-wise. Now they have to beat IMG, it's going to be even harder to find teams that want to play them. So I was like, oh, man, it's going to get even tougher now, but we're going to get it done. Coach, if you look at where you're ranked right now, you got St. Francis ahead of you. That's got the toughest schedule in America. They're traveling 8,000 miles this year via air. All right. They're going to DeSoto this week. They're going to Venice. They're going to Dutch Fork. They're going to Hawaii. They got IMG. You know, so, you know, who knows? Somewhere in there, they could get, you know, they're going to have a very toughest time probably anybody going undefeated this year. You got Mater Dei and St. John Bosco who play each other twice. So if they split and each have a loss, if you run the table, man, you could be the first public school probably in 10 or 12 years to unanimously be a #1 team. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. Just, you know, play it out, man, week by week. You know, I know it's one game at a time, but you're in a good position right now. And I do know your schedule's tough going forward. You got great South Florida teams, especially Dillard and Miami Northwestern. But, you know, you gotta feel real good about yourself. And like what Larry said, we got to make sure the kids, you know, stay focused and stop reading the pressings that are going to be coming, the press clippings that are going to be coming their way. Stay focused and get your job done one game at a time.
Coach,
What's up? Go ahead.
I got a 2-part question for you.
Okay.
So we've been talking about mindset and going into this game, but now that the game has been played, you know, there's always studs that you expect to stand out, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna give you a second to highlight some of those ones that you just knew were gonna have a great game, maybe a coming out party, and they did. But was there any player on your roster that was unexpected and they just had a great coming out?
Hey, Larry, party? let me jump in. Hey, Coach, we asked you this question a couple of months ago when you were on, and you listed a bunch of players. Name a player that we wouldn't have listed back then. Somebody that is just new or just is out of the blue came out, and you're like, wow, I didn't expect this. Any players like that right now?
Yeah, Nathaniel Gibson.
Okay.
He's a defensive end, first-year guy with us. Excuse me. He's the nephew of Derek Gibson. Used to be Miami Killian's head coach over there at FAU now. He was actually a backup last week. Started defensive end, got injured. He stepped in and had 2 sacks against IMG, you know, and he stepped up and made some pivotal plays on the defensive line. And I say that because his friend, Nate is 6 foot, 180 pounds. We all have seen IMG's defensive offensive line. You know, come on now.
Yeah.
Technically, you're a defensive back,
right?
You know, in college, but these are the things that public schools deal with when it comes to personnel, where it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of short at defensive line. You're aggressive, yet you're uncoordinated, so you're not coordinated enough to be a defensive back, but you are aggressive enough to come off the edge. You get what I'm saying? These are things that you have to play in your head when you're a public school head coach. You're not a private school head coach where you can just handpick whatever kid. You're 6'2", 280 pounds. You know, now I got a kid 180. He's going against a kid that's 200 pounds bigger than him, but he's able to deliver. He's a guy that splashed on the scene.
Wow.
That no one expected, and it was a great story for him.
So that was Nathaniel Gibson. Is that what you said?
Nathaniel Gibson. We call him Nate Gibson.
Nate Gibson. Very cool. Hey, Coach, I'm looking at your schedule right now. You got a bye week this weekend, followed by Booker T, Dillard, North Miami Beach, Northwestern, Norland. Tell us, you know, Booker T, that they haven't been the Booker T of late, obviously, but Ice is back there now. Tell
Right.
us what you can expect from them in a few weeks.
Oh, man. You can expect speed, and more speed. Ice is back, baby. Got to respect that, man. He's the mayor of overtime. Culture, legacy, legend. You know what I'm saying? He's probably forgot more football than I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta respect that. He's gonna have a team ready to fight. They're gonna be motivated. You know, they're gonna be playing with a purpose. For me, it brings that good old inner city rivalry back. It adds some luster to it, and it should be a great environment for us to get this thing going.
Coach, I've got Joe. Guys, I've got a great idea for you guys.
No.
So, Coach, it sounds like you said that you got a bye coming up this week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know who we're playing this week?
Who that?
North Miami Beach.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You need to come on up to Valdosta and scout your next opponent, man.
Man, listen. When I come up to Valdosta, I'm going to be looking for a game.
Yeah. Hey, Larry, if he comes up, you could take him to that restaurant you took me to when I was there.
Absolutely. Coach, you drive up Friday. I'll take you to Woodstack Barbecue, and we'll have some good.
Woodstack Barbecue.
Hey, Joe, tell them how good the burnt ends were at Woodstack.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what a burnt end was, but it was really delicious.
I was about to say, I don't know what a burnt end is. I was looking at you, Joe, like, what's a burnt end?
And I'm not used to eating stuff with my hands, but they forced me to do it, but it was all right.
We tried to get him to eat some collard greens, Coach, but he wouldn't do it.
Oh, man, come on, man. You got to get the greens, didn't you?
We tried to get the Jersey boy to eat some collard greens, but he just wouldn't do it.
In the South.
Yeah, no, you know what? I wanted to make sure I was going to be cool for the next 3 hours on the field. I didn't want to be going back and forth to the John. Hey, you know what? We did an event this past weekend in Broward County. We had 7 games over 3 days. It was called Broward County versus the USA. And much to my surprise, Broward won 6 out of the 7 games. I thought they would win maybe 4-3 or something like that, more even, but they really killed it. And one of the teams that did outstandingly well was Dillard. They played a team out of Maryland, Rock Creek Christian. They shut them out. I think it was 38-0. What can you tell us about that team? Do you know a lot about them?
Wow, what? Dillard?
Dillard, yeah.
I know that they're super talented. I heard they got a great defensive line. They got a great coaching staff. They got some great athletes over there.
And they play Madonna this week, you know.
Right.
Madonna, so, yeah. So you can go watch them there.
Yeah, they're both teams are ultra loaded, man, and that should be a good one too. Clash of 2 Broward Titans, I guess.
Yep.
So, Coach, last question that I've got for you. So, what if you guys? There's a really good chance you guys are going to go undefeated this year, right? So how do you celebrate with your team? Are you thinking that far ahead, or are you just thinking standard coach, 1 week at a time, that kind of stuff?
I'm thinking about tomorrow's practice and what we could do on special teams, and I'm just taking it a day at a time. We're not even thinking that far ahead. We're thinking about, how we're going to attack this bye week, and then after we take care of this bye week, then we can start getting ready for Booker T and taking it a day at a time, 1 game at a time, and 1 play at a time.
So, when the national media asks Nick Saban about what he does after a big win, he gives the standard, hey, we just celebrate for 24 hours and then it's on to how long do you guys celebrate a big win like over an IMG?
I'll give you an example. I'll give you one example. So we recently had our ring ceremony for our 3P championship for 2021, like 2 weeks ago, right before we had our kickoff classic. And I told the kids, I was like, hey, here's your rings. And I said, in front of your parents, I want you to take your rings and take a look at them, wave them in the air. I said, okay, you guys like that? They said, yeah. I said, okay, congratulations. Now put them up. Okay. I don't want to see them. They're done. They're in the past. What's your favorite ring? The next one.
That's right.
Gotcha. It sounds like you're not going to have a problem keeping these kids focused if that's your approach week to week, man.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we know. Listen, I'm very transparent with my kids. And I let them know straight up, yo, listen, when you're at the top, people are going to take their shot at you. They're going to give you their best punch, their best blow. You got to be able to weather that and dominate them. And my kids have been able to take on that personality and take on that mantra, because we know, man, nobody in this country works as hard as we do. Nobody in this country prepares as hard as we prepare. Nobody in this country approaches the game with such tenacity and such vigor as we do here at Miami Central, 95th Street.
Hey, Coach, I'm looking at your schedule here. You still have, I mean, do you still have openings? It looks like it. Are you still, if I could find you somebody to play on October 21st, would you consider it? I still see some gaps.
We got 2 bye weeks. I think this is our first bye week, and then we have 1 bye week over right before the playoffs.
Right.
We usually don't play a game before the playoffs.
So do you have a game between Booker T and Dillard?
Yeah.
All right. See, it's nobody updated on Max Preps as usual.
Yeah, we got a district game against Carroll City.
That's great. That's great. All right, cool. No, that's a great schedule. You got Booker T, Dillard, Booker T, Carroll City, Dillard, and then Northwestern a few weeks later.
Yeah.
Man, man. I'm gonna try to come down. I really want to. I've never been to a game at Travis Powell.
What?
I gotta come down and see you this year. One of these games.
That's the one thing about it. You've got to embrace. You got to see. There's one thing about seeing it. There's another thing about being there.
Experiencing
that, man. That is we like to tell them. We was telling the joke. We said we brought Trash Power to IMG this weekend.
Exactly.
You know, with the band and the cheerleaders and the culture and the fans and the whole 95th Street came out, and that was a beautiful feeling for these kids after that win.
That's great. Hey, Coach, I got a question for you. You know, we've been doing these events all over America. You know, we did the South Georgia versus the USA, the Georgia-Florida Challenge up by Larry. We did Broward. I would love to do whatever we want to call it. I don't know, Travis Powell versus USA or 95th Street versus USA, where you and another team, whether it's Booker T or Northwestern, whoever you pick, we bring 2 teams down there to play you two. You think that's something we can get done in 2023?
Yeah, so we get done, man. Listen, you know me, Joe, man. We don't shy away from any problems, man. We ready for whatever. So, you know, if you want
Joe, especially if you can bring the competition to them.
Oh, yeah.
That's even better.
Not many people want to go to Traz, but I'm sure there's some teams that want to experience it it's like any other thing. People want to go to Texas to experience Friday Night Lights. Teams are going to want to go to Traz to experience that on a Friday night. That's for sure.
Yes, sir. And that's that environment is second to none.
Joe, I'm going to ask you something about your national poll. I'm going to put it back up there. So, Coach, has Miami Central ever won a national championship?
No, we haven't won a national championship yet.
Ooh, you're close. You're close. So, Joe, do you project it to happen? I know it's still really early in the season.
Larry, there are some teams listed on this poll that haven't even played a game yet. So, it's still too early to tell. But they're in a great position. If you look at their games, they're home against Dillard. You know, it's favorable. St. Francis has the hardest road to hoe. You know, they got the toughest schedule in America, hands down. And they're traveling 8,000 miles and playing in Hawaii one night, where when the game is over, it's going to be 4:30 in the morning, their body time. You know, and Mater Dei and Bosco are going to play each other twice. If they split, boom. Right. You know, it's possible. It sure is possible.
That's what I'm thinking, man. Thinking ahead like that, and I see the schedule. These 3 teams that are ahead of them. It's like there's some things that could happen, Coach. So anyway,
like I said before,
stay focused.
One day at a time.
One game at a time. I love the attitude. Well, Coach, congratulations once again for knocking off a juggernaut like really a household brand in IMG. Right. So congratulations. You guys are now the bully in the woods, right? So congratulations for doing that. Looking forward to seeing how your season progresses. And, man, hope to have you on again because these have been fun interviews, Joe.
Yeah, Coach. Whenever I wear this shirt, I'm normally ashamed because it's a jet shirt. But now I'm not ashamed because I can pretend it's a Miami Central shirt.
You repping your boy, yeah, Joe. You repping your boy. You good? You good?
Feel proud. I'm feeling proud wearing the Rocket Green.
You repping your boy. Yeah, for sure. Hey man, listen, guys. I appreciate y'all, man. It's always been a pleasure, man. You guys are great interviewers, man, and you guys have been a great platform, man. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk Rocket football with you guys.
Cool. Thanks, Coach. If you ever make it up to Valdosta, burnt ends at Woodstack Barbecue on me.
Gotcha.
See you, Coach. Have a good night.
Take care. Be good.